Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I rise in continuation on this very, very important bill, the NBN Commitment to Public Ownership Bill. And I am pleased to be speaking in continuation and further on this particular bill, as the Albanese Government is committed to keeping the NBN in public ownership, and we've made that very clear. And we want to keep it in public ownership because we believe the NBN needs to stay in full government ownership to support the ongoing upgrade of the network, which is absolutely vital, and to ensure ongoing regulatory oversight of NBN wholesale pricing, keeping broadband affordable for Australians, and particularly that those upgrades continue in regional and rural areas. I spoke about in my initial contribution the need to have constant upgrades of the NBN and connectivity is absolutely vital for our regional communities. And in a community like mine, there are so many reasons why it's absolutely vital. Of course, for business needs, we have a huge number of small businesses, the backbone of our local economy in my area of northern New South Wales. They need to be connected, and for many work purposes people need to have access to NBN connectivity. And of course, for a whole range of educational purposes it needs to be in place, and for many personal needs too. People need to have that access and connectivity there. But even more so in areas like mine and other areas that are prone to natural disasters, and we need to have and we need to know that we're able to access communication services. And certainly in our devastating floods of 2022, as I've spoken about here many times, one of the big issues was the lack of connectivity and communication. So ensuring we have as many services in place to assist our communities for all those reasons, everyday reasons that people need in communities, but even more so in regional areas. Now, the government's been making an ongoing investment in the NBN to bring the benefits of high-speed broadband to many more Australians. And this government's support includes a commitment of $2.4 billion to replace the deteriorating copper network with fibre, which provides 90% of Australians, around 10 million premises in the NBN fixed-line footprint, with access to faster and more reliable broadband. And we have been rolling that out in so many communities. And this investment's already delivering benefits with increased reliability, fewer faults and access to higher speeds. In addition, the government and NBN Co are delivering a $750 million investment to upgrade services in the NBN fixed wireless network, which has flow-on benefits to NBN satellite services as well, which are of course vital, very vital as well in many regional and rural areas. Now, as I mentioned before, the need to have these services in times of natural disasters, and in my area, particularly with those devastating floods, we have a whole series of measures that helps communities like mine. And of course, one of those is the STAND program, Strengthening Telecommunications Against Natural Disasters program. And of course, we've had installations right across the country, and in my area we've had installations at the Tweed Council Civic Centre Auditorium, also Mullumbimby Rural Fire Service Brigade, and it's important to have those STAND programs in place so that there can be a backup of NBN Sky Muster satellite services under that program and other programs that we're rolling out, because as I said, when we had our flood in 2022 there were absolutely no communications available at all. So the increase in that satellite access, the emergency backup satellite access, is so important for our area and any other areas that are unfortunately subject to those natural disasters, and there are many throughout the nation. So as we increase our investment in STAND and other programs, that helps those communities become more resilient, which is all part of the resilience programs and the mitigation measures that we need to have in place to assist our communities. And of course, Deputy Speaker, as well, the increase in towers that we see, particularly in regional areas, is vital too. We've had many in the north coast of New South Wales recently, and I have supported each and every one of those for all the reasons I outlined, and the need particularly for emergency services and for residents to have that access in natural disasters, but for their everyday lives. For example, thankfully underway. There is a tower at Newrybar which will be providing a whole lot of increased connectivity to many areas, particularly Bangalore, which has had horrific access to the NBN, and having that tower is the only way to ensure that those people can get and stay connected. So I have 100% supported that. Many years ago in my area we did, unfortunately, there was some very criminal activity which damaged one of the towers, and I spoke out at the time and absolutely condemned that. We need to have these towers in place in our regional areas, and I've supported all of those that are coming online in my community, and some of those, of course, do receive government funding, particularly through our peri-urban mobile program, and we announced one just a couple of weeks ago with funding for new mobile phone infrastructure for the Optus network in the Kingscliff area, another area that has had many issues in terms of connectivity. And these are only two of the towers that I mentioned. There are others, and we need to have them in place because it is obviously a lot more difficult in those regional areas in terms of being able to access all sorts of communication services. So I will continue to encourage all forms of communication that assist regional communities. Now, Deputy Speaker, through this bill, through this bill, the National Broadband Network Companies Act will be amended to remove conditions enabling a future government to privatise NBN Co. And these changes reinforce in legislation our government's commitment. It is absolutely resolute. And the bill provides certainty. This bill provides certainty to everyone, to stakeholders, including so many those broadband consumers, the wider telecommunications industry, broadband retailers and NBN Co. The Commonwealth will continue to retain ownership of NBN Co. Very importantly, it provides certainty to all those consumers, and particularly those consumers in regional and rural Australia who are so dependent on their communications access. And this certainty supports the government's commitment for NBN Co to provide high-speed and reliable broadband connectivity for all Australians. That is our commitment, and that is why NBN Co must remain in public ownership. And Deputy Speaker, I commend the bill to the House.